Hi guys, today we're making Earl Grey cookies with a mix of almond flour and regular flour, and we're using honey as a sweetener and some sugar. So I'm gonna start by just to be giving you the list of ingredients, and then I want to talk about something else while I make the cookies and you watch me making the cookies. The ingredients will be on the website. So this is approximately 100 milliliters of almond milk, in which I have steeped, yes, 3 tea bags of Earl Grey and 2 good teaspoons, of my favorite Earl Grey tea, Countess Grey, from Thornton Mason. You can use whatever Earl Grey you have, so the flavor is really gonna depend on the kind of Earl Grey that you use. I'm gonna use 2 kumquats to underline the Earl Grey flavor. If you don't have, this is what I have. You can also use oranges if you want. Just a tiny bit. You barely taste them, but I think they really exalt the Earl Grey essence. We're going to use almond oil. We're going to use cornstarch, all-purpose flour, sugar. I have here melted 1 good generous tablespoon of honey because I think it makes a beautiful sweetener. We're going to use my favorite baking powder, and that's pretty much it. Now, while I start measuring, and again, you would see all these ingredients are going to be on the website. I spent the day watching the Share the Mic live Instagrams, and besides the fact that I discovered really amazing women. This is 150 grams of almond flour. What made me really think is that, Share the Mic is this initiative of relevant, powerful, influent white women giving their Instagram account for a day to interesting, powerful black women, so that we could hear the voices of black women. 100 grams of flour. And what I realized is that, I've been realizing this actually in the past few weeks, but how white my Instagram was. And when I really started thinking of how the system is designed to keep the world, in 2 colors. And it really made me think that, wow, like I looked at my feed, and simply that's 50 grams of cornstarch or potato starch. That's just how my Instagram was. And, Instagram doesn't necessarily reflect life. However, it kind of does tell you what your social and cultural world is, right? So, first of all, that was my first thought of like these amazing, interesting black women. I had no idea who they were, and not that that is a crime. Just I didn't know other white women that were doing this, by the way. But I scrolled through my to my Instagram feed, and it was 99% white. And that, I think, is one of those small first steps that we can make, and actually ask ourselves, why is that? Why? I'm sure that, I never did it on purpose, but it really made me think that, especially not doing it on purpose, that's just how the world goes. And that was my big realization that I had. I was talking to Ben about it, how, this really shows how the 2 worlds are meant to be separate. And so it was I'm adding my baking powder, and I added a pinch of salt. I'm going to add a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon. I like it that it has a little bit of vanilla. So, what a great initiative. I want to find out who actually started it. And they were amazing. Like, and it's going to last all day. So once I'm done doing this, I'm going to go back and listen. I hope they're gonna do more often. The reason why I'm doing something, I'm gonna add a good, it's really up to you. I'm gonna add a good tablespoon, if not more, of loose tea. This is the Countess Grey, use the loose tea Earl Grey, and just break it a little. This is gonna really give a beautiful tea flavor. So I'm going to, what was I say? No, I wanted to post something good, and a little bit of self-care kind of moment of baking and talking to you and actually sharing with you, because I don't know, maybe some of you maybe will see this through the website, not necessarily on Instagram, on YouTube, and some of you may not be aware of what's going on, what's going on of the Share the Mic initiative. And I think that I believe that all these Instagram lives, by the way, because there are conversations between two women. There's posts. So it's a very wide platform, and I think it's a cool thing. I believe they're going to be on the Instagram, on the feed forever, because they can be saved just like we do with the shows. So I'm adding here 65 grams of sugar, and I'm adding less because I have added honey already. So I'm going to add 65, and then I'll try it. And if I notice that let's say 70, let's do 65, as I said. I added 1 teaspoon of honey, okay? So altogether, I may add 5 ml. I'll see. I want to taste it. I like to taste to understand. So yeah, it's if you're not on Instagram and you're watching this to the website, thank you for being on the website. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for being on my YouTube. But yeah, go on Instagram and and hear all these stories. Go on Katie Couric page of Beezy Phillips and Selma Blair and Elizabeth Warr and Glennon Doyle. All these. Okay, so now I'm adding 80 milliliters of almond oil. I don't know why I'm doing this back and forth. I just like it. And I'm also going to grab a little bit of almond essence, not too much, because I want this to be about the Earl Grey. You can taste the almond because the flour is almond flour, but I really want Earl Grey to be the star. So now what I'm going to do with my kumquats, I want to just have the peel. And again, this is really not about tasting the kumquats. It's about like giving more space to underlining the beauty of Earl Grey. Earl Grey is one of my favorite. Earl Grey is one of my favorite teas. It's one of my favorite things, actually. I love Earl Grey ice cream, yesterday I made these cookies yesterday, and I was really trying to find a new way of making these cookies, because after a while you get bored of having the same citrus, rosemary. So I crave Earl Grey. I have my cup of tea every day, and I thought, why don't I try and really infuse these cookies with Earl Grey? So now I've used actually 1 kumquat, because it was fairly big. I don't really want, Earl Grey is bergamot, which is a citrus. That's why I believe that by adding a tiny bit of kumquat, it's going to give a beautiful. I should actually have a ring. Okay, now it's time to add a little bit more of our liquid element. So I'm going to go with 60 milliliters of this beautiful almond latte. This is very strong. 60, perfect. This is very strong, it's beautiful. You can actually, I made a little bit more because what I want to do now, I want to add a little bit of almond milk and whatever is left here and have it as a drink. Because it's basically an Earl Grey extract. The honey makes it a little bit drinkable, but otherwise it's super, because I squeeze the tea bags that you're never supposed to do when you have tea. I squeeze the tea bags. I'm at 65, I think, you know? Even more Earl Grey. So yeah, whatever you have left, you can make it a little bit, add some almond milk or whatever milk you're using and have a drink. So let me try it. What add? Nice. I'm gonna add a little bit of almond essence. Tiny bit. I think that adding a tiny bit really helps the also the Earl Grey come out. That's it. Just a hint. It's very strong, so you will feel it. You will taste it. Okay. Perfect. Now what we do? Same thing. Patties. Okay. Press them with a fork. Bake for 12 minutes at 425. Okay. So patties like meat, little bitty bone patty with a fork. Press them. These are gonna make 6 beautiful big cookies. Like this. This is what is gonna come out. And it's delicious. Buon appetito guys. Go on Instagram.